Hey guys, my name is Kevin. This is the War Against Narcissism, and in today's video I want to talk about the previous video I made regarding the Abba and Preach video on PJ Washinton, the NBA player, and Brittany Renner, the model, where PJ Washinton was basically saying that allegedly Brittany Renner only got into a relationship with him in order to get pregnant and get his money, which is partly what she did. She got pregnant by him, had his child, and soon after left him, and now PJ Washinton has to pay her $200,000 a month for child support, which I will say again is excessive. It's definitely excessive. But the point of the video was to say that Abba and Preach were victim blaming, and they don't necessarily refute that point or disagree with that point in their video. They say if you want to call it victim blaming, go right ahead, but what we're doing is important. We want to alert the masses as far as these kind of people that would do something of that nature, and to not be fooled, to not be duped. And they were saying that it's his fault, he's to blame for it, and he deserves it, right? And I think that when it comes to victim blaming, again, it does not achieve the goal that is helping the masses or raising awareness, which is a great goal. What it does is it makes victims go quiet, and when victims go quiet because they're blamed and shamed, it gives power to the aggressor. It gives them power to do it again to other people, and it makes them feel righteous because they go, well, they're being blamed for it, so obviously it wasn't my fault, right? And that's definitely wrong. Victim blaming is not just victim blaming. Victim blaming is also taking the side of the aggressor, whether you know it or not. Much like being silent in a situation of injustice means that you're siding with the aggressor, with the oppressor, right? So with that being said, I did make the comparison between sexual assault victims that very rarely will go to court or speak up when they're abused, because they have that fear of people telling them that it's their fault. It's, you know, they're to blame for it, and also shaming them, right? So because victims are often quiet in these situations, it creates more victims, and through victim blaming, it will cause issues, right? It will create more silent victims and create more aggressions, right? And that's not what we want. Hopefully that's not what we want, right? So with that being said, the two comments that I received was, first of all, one comment saying, well, you're talking about this lady, because I did make the comparison of a lady walking around in a sketchy neighborhood at 2 in the morning to catch a bus to go to work, and she gets raped, and I was saying that it's not her fault, even though she doesn't have accountability to take in a situation. It's not her fault that she was raped. The cause of her rape is that she met a rapist, right? And at least I think so. And what he was saying in the comments was, well, what was she wearing? Who cares what she was wearing? What are you talking about? This is victim blaming. Whether she was dressed in a suit, in a business suit, or she was dressed in a miniskirt, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. She's not to blame or to be shamed for the aggression that happened to her. She's a victim. Blame the aggressor, right? And the second comment that I received was, PJ Washinton in the situation knew what he was doing when he decided to have a child with Brittany Renner. Now, these are not the words that he used. He used very derogatory terms, and he was not respectful to either PJ Washinton or Brittany Renner. But I will choose to, I guess, give you a respectful version of the comments. But what he was saying is that PJ Washinton knew what he was doing. Brittany Renner had advertised, I guess, in previous videos that she does not respect athletes, that they're easy to fool, that they're dumb, they're stupid, and if you want to come up on a check, which is the exact term that she used, if you want to come up on a check, which is basically if you want to finesse someone, if you want to trick someone out of their money, if you want to come up on a check, tricking an athlete or trapping an athlete, which is basically having a child by someone in order to get their money. Trapping an athlete is a great move because they're dumb, they're easy targets, and that's something that she did say in the past. And what I think is important is, yes, I do think PJ Washinton has accountability to take for that particular situation. that happened to him, because Brittany Renner did speak on that, and that was available to the public, and I did say that in my previous video. But what we must understand is that just because you are the type of person that can recognize an evil person, that can recognize a person that would trap you, that would trick you, that would use you as if you were an object, and fake love, right, in order to get what they want, it doesn't mean that everyone is, right? And of course it's easy to say, well, I wouldn't have been tricked, and that would never happen to me, and things of that nature. That's easy, right? But that's not true. I mean, again, I spoke on victim blaming and why people victim blame, and often it is because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel safe to think that it's the fault of the victim, and it makes them feel like this could never happen to me. And it's untrue. This can happen to you. Now, in the situation of PJ Washinton and Brittany Renner, it was a bit more public, and Brittany Renner's character was a bit more public as well. She had spoken on that before, but in your life, you may meet someone that you think is great and has the best intentions, whether it be in a romantic relationship, in a friendship, in a business relationship, whatever it might be, and then boom, they show their true colors, and here you go. you're taken for a ride, you're scammed, and your feelings are hurt, right? That can happen to anyone. And just because you are the type of person that can recognize these people, and that wouldn't be even open to getting to know someone with a past like Brittany Renner has, with what she's put out, it doesn't mean that other people weren't raised differently than you. Some people were raised to see the good in people, and to disregard people's mistakes, and disregard people's bad characteristics, and only see the good in them, because that's how they want people to treat them, or that's basically how they were socialized, right? And is it wrong? Yes, but that's not his fault. The way that you're raised is not your fault, unfortunately. Now, the decisions you make, of course, will be your fault, and I think that you have accountability to take for any decisions that you may make. But I'm quite sure what you're saying is that he knew what he was doing. He knew who she was. I'm quite sure that PJ Washinton didn't tell himself, wow, this person seems like a trickster and a scammer, and someone that would trap me and take my child away from me and make me give her thousands of dollars. I'm going to put a baby in her. That's not what he was thinking. He was more than likely, logically speaking, seeing the good in her and wanted to develop a relationship with her. And perhaps he has a healing nature even, where he saw that this was a person that was in pain, that was suffering, that was miserable. Because for someone to do that, allegedly, if that's what she did, for someone to do that, for someone to say things like that, you have to be a miserable person. And perhaps he saw her as a miserable person, and he decided, hey, well, I'm gonna help. This is how I was raised. I was raised to help people, and not everyone knows that you shouldn't rescue people. Some people think that your fellow man is your brother, your sister, and if someone seems to need help, you help them, period. So hopefully I help clear some things regarding the comments I received, because going back and forth can be kind of complicated. But if you have any more comments regarding that situation, regarding anything I said in this video, I would love to hear it. I love the discussion. I want to make more content on it as well, and there was a lot, really quite a lot more interaction on the video I made regarding PJ Washinton and Brittany Renner and the Abba and Preach video. So I thought it would be a good idea to speak on it some more and get some opinions, and get a conversation rolling. So with that being said, please like, follow, subscribe, and please share with your friends and community in order to raise narcissistic abuse awareness. This is the war against narcissism, guys. Salute.